All right, what is going on, Laker fans? Thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys being a part of the post-game show here, of course, on YouTube, exclusively on YouTube now. So thank you very much for hanging out. I'm Alan Sliwa. We got a lot to get into. Lakers over the Grizzlies, 128-123. Let me do something I haven't really done. I know Trudell right now is interviewing Dalton Knecht. Let's take a quick listen to that here as we get started. Take a listen.
It was big time. I didn't even know what was going on, to be honest. I was shooting, just got in a rhythm, and then my teammates just kept feeding me the ball and just kept giving me looks, wide open looks. So it was just good out there to energize the whole entire crowd, and it got us going.
Yeah, we had a conversation like this in the preseason when you went out from three in Phoenix, but obviously a whole different thing to come through in a regular season setting like this when your team needed it to get the win.
Yeah, it felt good. Found my shot, found my rhythm, and then, it just got us going on the defensive side and offensive side. We all were going out there playing in transition, running, and just playing Laker basketball.
What's it like playing alongside LeBron and AD, all that they do on both ends, and specifically LeBron with the triple-double tonight, got a lot of the balls to you in terms of finding you for those threes. What did you see from him tonight?
LeBron's LeBron. He's going to go out there and do what he does. He's one of the greatest to ever play. So, at the end of the day, we trust him, and we just want him to, keep doing what he does. And then AD, AD's AD, the best center in the league. And when we got those two guys, and it makes life a lot easier.
How's it been with your coach, JJ Redick, who's been very consistent about wanting you to be aggressive, trusting you as a shooter? Has that helped you throughout the season early here?
Yeah, for sure. He has a lot of trust in me and a lot of confidence in me to, give me play calls and stuff like that, and give me trust during crunch time. So, it's always nice when your coach has your back all the time.
All right, go cool the hand up, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm going to stop it right there. That interview coming to an end. I know I don't usually do that. I know I typically don't start the post-game show with an interview, but we don't get too much of a chance to hear from Dalton Knecht. So I had the game on, obviously, on Spectrum Sportsnet. That was courtesy of Spectrum Sportsnet. That was Mike Trudell, of course, the great Mike Trudell. And I could hear them setting up like it was going to be Dalton Knecht on the interview. So for me, I'm like, all right, well, let me just hang out for a quick second here. If it's going to be Knecht, I want to certainly talk about it. Your comments, your thoughts on the game, a couple. I'm gonna kind of go through my top headlines, my top storylines of what I saw in tonight's game against the Memphis Grizzlies. But you guys, this is as much your show as it is my show. So whatever comments that you guys have, whatever part of Lakers basketball that you guys want to talk about tonight, things that you liked, things that you didn't like, you can feel free to put it in the comments. I'll do my best to get to them. As you guys know, typically a lot of comments do come up, so just keep that in mind. If you do throw a super, 100%, I'm going to put a super in the chat as well. Lakers over the Grizzlies, 128-123. Let's start with that man right there in Dalton Knecht. I tweeted this out. This was probably a few minutes ago or so when I thought the Lakers had the game. And then they made it interesting there for no reason at all. But I thought Dalton Knecht, this is going to sound a little dramatic here. I thought he won the game for the Lakers. And you can say, what the hell are you talking about? LeBron just had his third straight triple-double. So far, or third straight triple-double over the last 3 games. And I know it is easy. To look at some of the different stats there and be like, all right, but AD got 21 and 14. What do you mean Dalton Knecht won them the game? Dalton Knecht won them the game. And I'll tell you how and why Dalton Knecht won them the game. And why, if you're a Laker fan out there, you got to be very, very excited about this young kid. And I'm not telling you it's going to happen every single night, but it's not easy to come into a basketball game as a rookie and step in there and look very, very comfortable with your role. It's not going to happen every night. I know that. You guys got to understand this is only his, let's see now, Lakers are 7-4. It's only his 11th game in the NBA. So he's probably lost a lot of the time of what the hell is going on here, the speed of the game. This guy was playing in the SEC this time last year in college basketball, and now all of a sudden he's looking on the other side. He's like, is that Kevin Durant? Is that Ja Morant? Is that – go down the list, De'Aaron Fox. I mean, he's looking at players that he probably grew up watching, including LeBron James and Anthony Davis. It takes rookies a second to get going. But there's a reason why a lot of people think the Lakers got the steal of the draft at number 17. And whether you want to give Rob Pelinka and the front office credit or you just want to say, well, all the other teams were fumbling not grabbing this guy a little bit earlier. However you want to look at it, it's irrelevant. He's a Los Angeles Laker. And I think the hype that's around Dalton Knecht, so far, it's been like, man, the guy looks good, but he looks comfortable, but he doesn't look that good. He's not hitting his jumper. He doesn't really know. If you overplay him, all of a sudden, maybe he's not going to attack. Maybe he's depending too much on the three-point line. Dalton Knecht came into a game where the Lakers looked flat. They looked disinterested. They looked like a team that was playing a Memphis Grizzlies squad without probably their two best players. Of course, John Morant on that list. Desmond Bane's a baller as well. He's not in the lineup as well, so keep both of those guys in mind that they're not in the game. And Anthony Davis is in foul trouble. The Lakers looked lackadaisical. There's a blueprint to beat the Lakers, and I think we've seen it with a few young teams so far in the NBA. The blueprint is compete for 48 minutes. Do everything you can to stick your elbow in the Lakers' chin and see how they're going to react. Run up and down the floor. Make this thing a sprint, not a marathon. The more the Lakers have to sprint, the more they're going to get tired. Some of their players, you can clearly see it in just the way they play or just merely their age, in LeBron James being the one specifically that I'm talking about. Make it a sprint. That's what Memphis was doing. I thought the minutes that Dalton Knecht gave, there was a stretch there where he hit a couple threes in a row. First, actually, he hit a bucket, a nice kind of fadeaway jumper. Then hit a couple threes in a row, had a nice dime, had a steal. And all of a sudden, the momentum started going towards the Lakers' way. And I think anytime you got, if you're a teammate of Dalton Knecht and you're like, I don't know what this rook's doing, but hey, we got to hop on his shoulders for a couple of minutes. Let's do it, because I don't know what the other solution is. I think Dalton Knecht won them this game. I really do. He shot 7 of 8 from the field. He was 5 of 5 from the three-point line. He played 31 minutes for the Lakers. He had 19 points. Plus minus, some people love the plus minus. Some people absolutely hate the plus minus. He had the highest plus minus on this Lakers team at a plus 16. Solid, impressive minutes from Dalton Knecht tonight. I will go through the other players. LeBron is just absolutely ridiculous. We'll do that. We'll talk about Anthony Davis getting in foul trouble. We'll talk about the Lakers playing with their food too much so far this year, even though their record is now 7-4, have got a little bit of lucky of some of the different players that are elite in the NBA that they got to avoid on their way to that 7-4 record. But for a quick second, there's a rookie on the Lakers tonight that went 5 of 5 from the three-point line, 7 of 8 from the field, was incredibly comfortable in crunch time, crunch situations, and looked like he's been in the league for 6-7 years. And for a franchise that really hasn't had a lot of young pieces to build off, a lot of young pieces to feel comfortable about, I think Dalton Knecht is only going to get more and more comfortable, more and more confident as the season goes on. 19 points for Dalton Knecht. Call me dramatic. Knecht won the game tonight for the Lakers. All right, let me take a quick look at some of the comments here as I go out of my way to hype up Dalton Knecht. Let me look a couple of these comments here, and then we'll keep going with everything else. Okay, DK, when he gets hot, is like a machine. Here's the funny thing about that. We've only seen him play 11 games. You know, there's certain players in this league, when they do get it going, it's impressive. When there's certain players in this league, when they do their thing, it's like, damn, look at that guy. There's no way stopping him. And the one thing, you know, as great as it is to see shooters shoot, you don't want to see players just be one-dimensional. And I think that's a part of Dalton Knecht's game that I'm a fan of, that I do think he could get the ball to the basket. I do think he can make plays off the dribble. I do think he could size somebody up, cross them over, get to the basket, and get an and one. I think there's more to his game than just the 5 for 5 from the three-point line. But tonight, that's obviously a big piece of it that sticks out. All right, let's see what else we got here. I got, by the way, Lord Beerus, thank you very much for the super there. Dalton is the catalyst with AD and Bron. Definitely the third best Laker. AR number 4. Koloko will be number 5. Listen to me. Write this down. Hold me to that. Here's what I'm going to do. Probably not going to write it down because we live in 2024, and I probably don't need to write it down. Plus, I have this here. I could just go back to it at any time. I could go back to the screen. So I won't write it down, but I will pay attention to, and I will also disagree with you. Dalton Knecht is not the third best Laker, at least right now. He's going to have to do it on a consistent basis. So we'll see what happens. But I don't blame you for being excited about his play tonight. I don't blame Laker fans out there for certainly being excited about what he was able to do. Knecht was on fire, and D'Lo kept ruining it. Damn. I didn't even know we had to take a shot there. Knecht won us the game tonight, Alan. Knecht saved the game. I agree. I don't think. I think there's times that we find ourselves talking about certain players, and maybe we get too up on them, maybe we get too down on them. But I think in this case, I think Dalton Knecht was the real deal. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about? You ever do this on one of those bags? Every time I do it, I try doing it. The bag's just going everywhere. Gets knocked complete. The hook flies all over the place. All right, here we go. Slee is known as a Rui hater. God, I love this chat. All right, let's keep going here because I do want to get into other individual players. Let me, and I'm going to come back to the Rui hater part of it. I even had it in my notes here. I was about to give the man some credit. I'll give credit when credit's due, and when somebody's not playing well, I'll also say when that person is not playing well, because that way you guys can believe when I say things rather than just sugarcoat stuff. JJ Redick's on a mic. Let's take a quick listen.
The threes, the ISO jumper out of our flow set, and then getting to the foul line right after that, and just impressed with the poise and composure from AD tonight.
Staying on AD, he ended up being just a hair shy of his season average in minutes, but what kind of stress or trickle-down effect does it cause to you and your coaching staff and your rotation when a guy gets in foul trouble like that?
I mean, when it's one of your best players, or what, it's hard to manage, particularly putting Christian in just his second game with us. And not having Jackson, again, it kind of goes back to what I said earlier. It's just like by any means. And Christian, I thought, had some really good plays, not just the finishes at the rim, but defensively as well in those minutes.
All right. Tail end of that, so we didn't get a chance to hear his thoughts on Dalton Knecht. All right, let's do some of the other players. Let me just get this out of the way. This is another win for the Lakers. They are 7-4. They're 5-0 at home, so I'm going to give them all the credit for that, because I do think in the NBA, especially early on, how you win, I don't think is as important as just winning. So especially for this Lakers team, go ahead and stack as many wins as you possibly can. Here's what I can't figure out so far with this team through the first 11 games, and you guys can certainly chime in on this if you have some thoughts on it. What I can't figure out with this team is, are they playing with their food too much and having closer games at the end than they really should, or are they just disinterested sometimes and can turn it on whenever they want? If you told me where I had to lean, I think I lean a little bit towards their, how do I put it? If Ja Morant was playing tonight would have been a problem, period. It would have been a problem. If Scotty Barnes was playing in some of those Toronto Raptors games, those would have been tough games towards the end. I'm trying to think the last couple of games that the Lakers played, and I know at home they've been great, but that's the one thing that I would caution with this Lakers team. There are going to be times where teams are – this one was just more Memphis didn't have the talent to close out the game. Memphis shouldn't be in a game without their two best players, Desmond Bane and Ja Morant. And my issue so far with the Lakers, if Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey was playing on Friday night, okay, what's that game look like towards those final couple of minutes. I know Philly hasn't been good so far this year. That's not an area that I've been crazy about watching Lakers basketball. I think you could say, oh, you know what? They're just they're playing down to their competition. Can't do that. I just think, and I understand this is a veteran team. I think it's a team that's been there. It's done that as far as LeBron and Anthony Davis have. But at the end of the day, you create habits and you create a certain type of culture. Memphis played 48 minutes as hard as they possibly can and almost snuck away with a win tonight. And they're a good team as well. They're 7-5 now. They're going to eventually get their players back. Even if they just get Desmond Bane back for now before Ja Morant comes, they're going to be in the mix in the Western Conference. I don't want the Lakers creating that type of tendency or that type of it's just not a good look for them. That's not something that you could look at with this Lakers team and feel good about, kind of always being in games no matter the circumstance, whether the team is good, whether the team is bad. It always seems like it's coming down to the last couple of minutes. So that part I'm not crazy about. There was a time Memphis, I think, went up by 9, maybe even 10 points. And if it wasn't for that little run by Dalton Knecht, Anthony Davis goes to the bench, and all of a sudden guys start clicking. LeBron is tremendous. I'll get into LeBron in just a second, but you don't want to create habits like that. And I feel like the Lakers are starting to create some bad habits where they think they could let teams just hang around. If you're playing a team that's healthy, if Memphis has Ja Morant and Desmond Bane tonight, Lakers are losing this game. They are. That's just too good of talent. That now all of a sudden you not only have guys that are playing hard, they got youth, they're running up and down the floor, but then you got real talent in Ja Morant and Desmond Bane. And that's the one area that I think the Lakers got to be cautious of. Games shouldn't be this close against the Memphis Grizzlies late in a game. Things like that should not happen to the Lakers. Unfortunately, we've seen a few signs of that so far this year, so hopefully that goes away sooner than later. Bron tonight. I want to put this in perspective here real quick. So I am going to look at LeBron's stats here for the last 3 games. Okay. Lakers played the Sixers on Friday. LeBron had 21 points, 12 rebounds, 13 assists, and 3 block shots. Played the Raptors on Sunday. He had 19 points, 16 assists, and 10 rebounds. And then tonight against the Grizzlies, he had 35 points, 11 rebounds, and 14 assists. He's averaging about 14, almost 14, 15 assists over the last 3 games. So far in the regular season, he's at 23 points. He's at 7.7 rebounds and basically 9 assists a game, 8.9. Damn, LeBron. I mean, one of the things that's most impressive to me, and I don't think it's probably talked about enough, LeBron's facilitating. A lot of times when you see LeBron, when you go look at LeBron's greatest highlights, a lot of them is not going to be the passing, even though he will eventually finish his career as one of the players with the most assists in the NBA history. And I know you could say, well, it's because he's been around for 22 years. He's a facilitator. I think a lot of times he would prefer to facilitate, then shoot and score or drive the ball to the basket or something like that. I felt like even in his career when he was at his best, at the peak of his powers, he still had no problem dishing out 7, 8, 9, 12, 13 dimes a night. Tonight he had 14, had 16 the game before and 13 the game before that. That's incredible. That really, really is incredible. They had a stat. If you guys saw it during the game, most triple doubles after, I want to say age 35, and I think Jason Kidd had 8, and then LeBron had 20 something. And then everybody else was, under that 8, 5s and 3s, I think was on that list. Clearly I didn't see that list for very long, but he just continues doing it. I was talking to Michael Thompson yesterday. I don't really agree with him on this, but Michael was on my show in the morning. For those who don't know, 8 a.m. in the morning, I'm doing the Sliwa show, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., just exclusive here. I'm just YouTube now. That's where all my attention is, all my effort is. And not going to lie, I'm loving every second of it so far. But I was talking to Michael yesterday, and I said, Michael, will there be another player that will be doing this at this stage of their career, 22 years in. And Kareem had some numbers at age, or by the time he was in his, was it when Kareem was 39 or in his 40s or something like that? Kareem was Kareem. The guy was incredible for a number of years, even towards the latter part of his career. But he had mentioned guys, he said maybe Luka can do it, this far, because Luka's not depending on his how do I put this? He's not depending. There's a certain type of skill set that comes with the way Luka plays, and LeBron obviously completely different. I didn't really agree with that with Michael. I think Luka's issue is going to be his health. Luka already looks like he's 35 years old. The hell is he going to look like when he's actually 35 years old? But the way LeBron plays, how he does it, the fact that he can still, move up and down the floor the way he does, and just listen, he just plays the game the right way. It's not going to be perfect every single night, but the man is, whether you want to call it a triple-double machine, that's kind of how his entire career has been. He's going to get 25 to 30 points a night. He's going to grab 8-9 rebounds a night. He's going to get 8 or 9 assists a night. The only difference with LeBron is he's been doing it for 20-plus years and still doing it. The one area that LeBron struggled in tonight was the turnovers. Had 6 turnovers tonight, so something to keep in mind there. Anthony Davis had 21 points and 14 rebounds. Kind of a weird night for AD, got to be honest. I didn't really feel his impact. Felt it much more. Had the 5 fouls, sat for a while, and you felt his presence a lot more later in the game. Was hitting a couple big threes, kind of to ice the game for the Lakers. Went 2 of 3, but not his typical night for what he's been doing, and the reason why a lot of people have him as the leading, the best player in the NBA, the leading player to get the MVP. We're only 11 games in, so it really doesn't mean anything, is because he's been so effective and 30-plus points a night. I didn't really feel AD's presence tonight. That part was a little disappointing. But when he did come back in the game, you started feeling his impact. Really struggled from the field, 6 of 16, but 21 points and 14 rebounds for him, and 3 block shots. Between LeBron and Anthony Davis, 9 turnovers. They got to clean that part up. Last player, well, not last player, a couple players I still want to mention in the starting lineup, but let's go to the Rui piece here real quick, because when I see comments like this, which, listen, that's fine. You go ahead. Throw those my way all the time. No, it's not about being a Rui hater. It's about Rui Hachimura needing to do his job on a consistent basis, and Rui has not been able to do that so far with the Lakers. So you can call it a hater, or you could say Allen's being honest. I don't know which one you prefer. I would prefer honest. But let's talk about Rui tonight, because tonight he did something that he has not been doing for the Lakers, and he should get credit for. He was 6 of 7 from the field. The part of Rui Hachimura I love the most, got 7 rebounds, was active, ended up playing 36 minutes for the Lakers. This wasn't a game where JJ Redick decided, you know what, why not sit this guy over here on the bench? I'm not 100% sure if I could depend on him in a certain situation or in a late game situation. Rui was there. Rui was active. Rui was contributing, so give Rui the credit tonight. Had 19 points. I mentioned the 7 rebounds. Got to the free throw line 5 times. Hit 3 of 4 from the three-point line. Some clutch threes. Looked comfortable, 6 of 7 from the field. If your shot's not going, here's what Rui's got to do. Rui's success does not have to depend specifically on how many points did he have. Are you grabbing rebounds? Are you playing defense? Are you deflecting some balls? Are you a presence on both sides of the floor? Are you spacing the floor well? Rui's not going to be dependent on just how many points did he get. He's got the skill set to get points, but it doesn't just have to be Rui getting buckets. So I thought tonight there were different ways that he contributed on top of what he did offensively. So there is your Rui Hachimura love, and he deserved it tonight. As simple as that. Now, if Rui goes back next game that the Lakers play and he struggles again, what do you want me to do? Pretend like it didn't happen? I can't do that. That's not going to happen here. All right, the last couple of players, or really the main player I was going to mention, Austin Reeves ended up starting lineup as well. 18 points, struggled. This is the one thing I hate to see from Austin Reeves. Do I need to see him take 11 threes? I mean, I don't know if that's the world that makes sense for Austin Reeves to take 11 threes unless he hit 5 of his first 7. But he was 3 of 11 from the 3-point line, 5 of 14 overall, 18.6 assists. Did have a big 3 towards the end there that helped the Lakers kind of ice the game. D'Lo, 3 of 9 from the field, 2 of 6 from the 3-point line. He had 8 points. Played 20 minutes. You know what's crazy? If I'd have told you that we're about a month into the season, not even a month, and it's 3 weeks into the season, and Dalton Knecht was going to have a game where he's playing more than D'Angelo Russell. Dalton Knecht played 31 minutes tonight, and D'Angelo Russell only played 20 minutes. I'm going to indirectly compliment JJ Redick on this. You know what would have sucked tonight is if D'Angelo Russell ended up playing 31 minutes because JJ Redick felt the pressure that he has to play him. No, I can't play Dalton. He's a rookie. I got to get D'Lo his minutes. I don't think that's going to be JJ Redick. I don't think Redick has a problem. I don't think there's going to be much politics. It doesn't feel like that way already with JJ Redick. Things are going well, you'll probably be in the game. Things aren't going well, you'll probably be sitting on the bench. Unless your name is LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Maybe Austin Reeves gets a little bit of this treatment as well, but Reeves is the 3rd best player on this team, at least the 3rd most consistent player on this team. I haven't noticed that JJ Redick has a problem saying, Rui, why don't you sit right here? D'Angelo, why don't you sit? Hell, he took D'Angelo Russell 8 games into the season. He took him out of the starting lineup to try something different. Max Christie, all the hype that was coming with Max Christie this year. Oh, Christie's going to contribute. Christie, you add my minutes and Max Christie's minutes up tonight. We played the same amount of minutes, so that tells you a little bit something of how he's looking at these games. Okay, let's take a look at some of these comments here. D'Lo only 20 minutes. Yeah, listen, if it's working, great. If it's not working, then go to something else. And he really, truly doesn't owe anything to anybody. I've talked about this a couple different times now in the postgame show, which, by the way, postgame show after every Lakers game right here. I mean, come on, guys. 5 years Lakers radio broadcast. Now just doing it here on YouTube. My credentials are there, damn it. He doesn't know anything to anybody. And what I mean by that is JJ Redick's going to be here a lot longer than some of the players that are on this current roster. I'll give you an example. D'Angelo Russell is in the final year of his contract with the Lakers. Jackson Hayes, Cam Reddish, all final years of their contract. Christian Wood, final year of his contract. Feel free to go down. I'm sure there's a couple. Rui Hachimura, 2 more years, or this year and next year, I want to say. He signed a 3-year deal last year, so 2 more years left on his contract. I'm sure JJ Redick will be here past Rui. So he can kind of do whatever the hell he wants, because as long as the Lakers are winning and as long as it makes sense, as long as they're not ego-driven decisions, and it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case with him right now. All right, let's see what else we got here. Read some more of these comments. Sedano interviewed LeBron post-game for ESPN. LeBron shouted out their rookie connect, 100%, and he should. I mean, a lot of people tonight and tomorrow should spend it. When I do my show tomorrow at 8 a.m., I'm going to go out of my way to talk about Dalton Knecht. The man, exactly that is exactly what should happen when a player that young is contributing. Okay, that's one way to put it. He doesn't suck. I wouldn't say Rui sucks. The guy has got to be more consistent. He's got to be more consistent. Gabe ain't been the same since the injury. Let's talk some injuries real quick. So I wanted to get into this, and I'll come back to some of these comments here. Not the best news for the Lakers over these last couple of days. We got the news yesterday that Christian Wood is going to be out at least 4 weeks. So I'm going to read this here. Woods underwent knee surgery before the beginning of training camp. Initially was given an 8-week timeline for reevaluation. Wood revealed that his knee has been feeling fine, but woke up one day after rehab and experienced swelling, which prompted an MRI and eventually surgery. Christian was ramping up his return to play. This is JJ Redick, and he developed some soreness. We're going to scale it back and have an update in about 4 weeks. JJ Redick was also asked about, hey, what's the latest on Jared Vanderbilt? Said nothing. Or I think the question was, do you have an update? And he said no. So I don't know when the hell Vando's coming back. I really don't. And maybe I was listening this morning. When I was driving in, I listened to a few different things, but I was listening to Sirius XM NBA channel, and Brian Scalabrine was on, and I forget what injury they were talking about, some injury in the NBA, and he said something along the lines. He's like, I love talking to different fans and different people that are representing another team, and they're always like, hey, just wait for this player to come back. And that's kind of, I was like, wait, is that me with Vando and Christian Wood? Am I the one saying, hey, the Lakers bench is going to be so much better when those two players come back? First off, I don't know when the hell they're coming back. And Christian Wood's got another setback. And then we learned earlier today about Jackson Hayes. He's out 1 to 2 weeks with an ankle sprain in just another, I guess you can call it, setback for the Lakers as far as injuries go. So they've had their fair share of injuries. The good news for the Lakers is those injuries are not your best player or your key player. It's not LeBron and Anthony Davis. It's not Austin Reeves. It's not D'Angelo Russell. So that would, I would tell you, is the good news for the Lakers when it comes to that. But they definitely have had their fair share of injuries. All right, let's get to some more of these comments here. Christian Wood, just another 1-2 year player. Plank a sign they'll miss more games than play for us. Yeah, I got to be honest. You know, one thing that the Lakers, and I think this is one of the criticisms that Rob Pelinka is going to have. Rob Pelinka offered 3-4 guys last year 1-year contracts at the minimum with a player option for the second year, and all those guys took that player option. Christian Wood was one of them. Cam Reddish was another one. So just to name a couple players right there, Jackson Hayes is another player. That tells you that the rest of the league was not interested in these players, and the Lakers, I guess, to just get these guys, had to give them that player option, which hurt a lot of their flexibility in the offseason. A lot of people giving love, obviously, to Knecht. So give love to him, as you should. So there was, if you guys got any other specific topics you want me to get into, let me know, and I'll try to get into it. ESPN did their, actually, one other thing I'm going to mention here before I get to the ESPN thing. Just look at the team stats. I always take a look at the team stats. This is me just being a basketball nerd, and just kind of look at certain things. Lakers had 23s tonight. They almost shot 50% from the three-point line. Struggled from the free throw line. That hurt them. They missed 10 free throws. One of the only other things that I would really point out, 18 turnovers is too many turnovers. Fortunately for the Lakers, rebounding was a little bit better, 42-41. Still giving up offensive rebounds. It seems like opposing teams are always getting rebounds on the Lakers. Offensive rebounds, that was 12-7, so something to keep in mind there. And points in the paint. You never really see this happen to the Lakers. 58-36 points in the paint. The Grizzlies dominated that category. So one of the things I was going to jump into, so ESPN's doing their, this is common, right? Every week they do their power rankings. And they go through the NBA. Cleveland right now, who, if I'm correct, is still undefeated. They get the number 1 pick. Boston is number 2, not number 1 pick. They're ranked number 1 in the power rankings. Then Boston, OKC, Golden State, Denver. That's your top 5. They had the Lakers down here at number 11, and I have no thoughts on it. I don't think it's a big deal. I don't pay too close of attention to the power rankings. Maybe when the team's doing really, really good or really, really bad, you take a closer look like, okay, how bad are they compared to the rest of the league? How good are they compared to the rest of the league? All right, 11 is 11. I don't think that's a big deal one way or the other. But the one thing that I will say is 9 of the top 11 teams in the power rankings are all in the Western Conference. There's only 2 teams that are in the East. It's the Cavs and the Celtics, and everybody else is in the Western Conference, which tells you a little bit about the conference, tells you a little bit about, obviously the NBA right now and where it is, but these conferences, let's just say, are not created equal. I don't know when I'm jumping into this, but I know Anthony Davis is talking right now. He might be at the end. He might be at the beginning. Let's take a quick listen here of AD.
Yes. It was somewhat of a toss-up, even the last 5 minutes. What did you see from your team or the way the game finished out in the last 5? Were you able to pull it out?
We made shots, but we just started defending. We had a really good quarter defensively. We just locked in on the defensive end, tried to get stopped holding the one shot, and then get out and run or get down and execute our offense and get the best shot possible.
You've had a group dynamic with all the bigs ever since you got here. How have you kind of helped Christian Koloko along, especially because now his number's going to be called?
Yeah. Obviously he's long, and his ability to catch a couple lobs like he did tonight, block some shots, get some rebounds. It's huge. He's not a guy who's going to go out, up his role. He's going to do his job, every night, play hard, and just trying to, help him with that. He's still young, and, he's coming to me for, advice and some questions, things like that. So just trying to, be a guy that he can lean on to continue to get better in this league.
You have a lot of years.
All right, I think that's good. Take the sound off there so I could hear myself. All right, let's take a look at a couple of these comments here. I got this. I've been getting a lot of this. What do we think? Some of the trades that are out there, some of the rumors that are out there, all that other good stuff. Still think it's too early. I still think, would I like Jonas Valanciunas on this team? Sure, absolutely. I would take a Jonas Valanciunas. I don't know exactly what it's going to cost. I don't know what they have to give up. There was an article that came out. Dave McMenamin does a great job, obviously, with ESPN, and it was talking about some of the challenges that the Lakers have as far as making trades, front offices, teams wanting to make deals with them, teams demanding picks, everything else that comes with it. They don't really have an excuse come trade deadline. So whether it's a guy like Valanciunas, however that front office thinks they can improve this roster, they're going to have to do it. And I don't think if Rob Pelinka got a free pass these last couple of years, got a free pass last trade deadline and not making a move, got a free pass in the summer. When I say free pass, as in nothing happened, I don't know if people agree with that. But if you want to give him a free pass and say, look, he's looking out for the Lakers' future, he's really, really trying to make sure that those draft picks, once LeBron is gone, that they have guys that they could use and develop and, hopefully, or shop in some type of a trade so that they can replace LeBron James. Okay, let him be responsible. That's fine. But coming into this trade deadline, I don't know how Rob Pelinka, the Lakers, don't make a move. The last place you want to sit is right in the middle. And it feels like the Lakers these last couple of years, that's been the case as far as the standings go. I know they got to the Western Conference Finals. I know last year, if people want to make a case, every game against Denver was close. That's fine. But clearly the Lakers not good enough to actually compete with a championship for a championship. So we'll see what he does come trade deadline. Hey, Slee, will there be a post-game show after this post-game show? Yes. I'm going to do the post-game show after the post-game show for my own post-game show. Does that make sense? So when my post-game show ends here on YouTube, then I'm going to start my post-game show giving thoughts on what I did on the post-game show. So I'm going to analyze how I did in the post-game show. So yes, to answer your question. And that will run till midnight. That's about an hour and a half long of me only analyzing me in post-game show number 1. That will be post-game show number 2. Damn, those were some long-ass days I used to have. I mean, still long now because I'm doing the show in the morning, but I freaking lived at that radio station. All right, let's see what else we got here. A couple more here, and then we're going to call it a night tonight because I have to work again in the morning. Mornings are early now, bright and early. Couple scores around the NBA, just stuff that I think is sort of interesting. Celtics are 10-3 now. Knicks 5-6, 6-6, 5-6. not really that impressive. Got to be honest with you, that duo so far. I mentioned Cavs are 13-0 now. The hell is going on with the Cavs? Lakers played the Cavs. Were they the first game of that road trip? I can't remember if they were the first one. I'll take a look here real quick. But Cavs looked freaking good against the Lakers. But I just thought to myself, I remember, texting with a couple of buddies of mine, and I was telling them, I'm like, yeah, but they're missing something. Like they're going to have, it was the second road game we had. We played Phoenix first and then Cleveland second. I felt like they're a move away from being real contenders. I still actually think they're a move. If right now you said Cavs and the Celtics in a 7-game set, I think everybody's going to pick the Celtics, and that's not a big shock or anything, which makes me believe they're a move away from making some real noise. Thunder won again. They're now 10-2. Pelicans. I was listening to somebody talk about all the injuries with the Pelicans, and I know Lakers got the Pelicans coming up here. I'm pretty sure pretty soon they have a game coming up against them. But I was looking at, they got a game coming up. What's that? It's going to be maybe Saturday. Lakers got the Pelicans. But I was looking at all these guys, all their injuries. Jose Alvarado, he's out for at least 3 weeks. I think he's going to be reevaluated in 3 weeks. Zion, out indefinitely. They didn't even say how long he was out for, just out indefinitely. Herb Jones is out 2 to 4 weeks. CJ McCollum is out 2 to 3 weeks. DeJounte Murray, we know that's one of the trades that they made. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. The Pelicans are absolutely reeling. They're 3-9, but it makes sense. They don't have anybody. A lot of their key players are obviously not there, but Thunder are up to 10-2. Rockets are 8-4. Watch out for the Rockets. This one doesn't surprise me at all. They were setting this up last year. The culture was being changed in Houston. That's a team that's going to be a headache in the Western Conference. Minnesota 6-6. They're not all that impressive. Kings beat the Suns earlier today, so just kind of gives you some of the games in the NBA right now. And then if you look at the standings, Lakers 7-4. They're sitting in the number 6 spot. So OKC, Golden State, Phoenix, Denver, and Houston, all better records with the Lakers. Memphis had a better record than the Lakers coming into this game, but after the Lakers beat them, they're now in front of the Memphis Grizzlies. Okay, I think we are done for the evening. Zion bust. Yeah, that poor guy. He's got to drop 15, 20 pounds. That's the only way that guy I think is going to stay healthy. All right, Lakers over the Grizzlies, 128-123. Dalton Knecht, badass game from Dalton Knecht. My main takeaway from tonight, LeBron, his 3rd straight triple-double. I guess this guy's just never going to get old. Rui Hachimura had a good game, and I have to mention that because somebody says I'm a hater on here. So Rui, I will say it again, had a good game. Lakers over the Grizzlies, not the most impressive win, but it is a W. They are 7-4. This is a much better start they've had in previous years. And then just to give everyone an idea, just their next couple of games, they're at San Antonio coming up on Friday. They're at New Orleans coming up on Saturday. If you could take both of those games and you're 9-4, but at worst, split that and you're 8-5, but they really do have a chance to go 9-4 or to start the season out 9-4. And then I think next week the in-season tournament will start next week, and you guys know how I feel about that. So I'm going to leave that one alone, and we'll take it from there. Thank you very much for tuning in. I do have to do this, and I'm going to do it much more now because I'm supposed to do it. Please subscribe to this channel. We just got over 26,000 subscribers. Want to keep growing the channel. Obviously, like I said, this is where I'm going to roll up my sleeves and go to work every single day. And I'm going to try to do it for sports fans out there. So the best way to support the channel is to subscribe and to like these videos. If you can do that, I would appreciate it. I'm back on tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. A lot of Lakers basketball tomorrow. I got some other NBA topics I'll get into as well. And we'll have a good time enjoying our cup of Joe, our cup of coffee in the morning. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm Alan Sliwa. This has been the Post Game Show on YouTube. Thanks, everybody.